Good evening. I'm Vancouver City Council member Ty Stober, and I also have the honor of serving as Mayor Pro Tem. On behalf of the Vancouver City Council, welcome to the 2023 State of the Union and the first quarterly Council Community Forum. Tonight is a significant milestone in our post-pandemic, COVID-integrated world. This is the first time we have gathered together for State of the City since 2019. 4 years. So much about how we view the world has changed since we last were together, and it makes sense for this event to be reimagined to be more interactive. We have a packed evening, so let's get started. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 58th mayor of the great and original City of Vancouver, our first Madam Mayor, Anne McInerney-Ogle.
Thank you, Ty. How exciting. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. As Ty pointed out, it's been 4 years. That's a long time. Lots of things have happened in those 4 years, and it's great to see you here this evening with us. We have a lot of friends and elected officials in the room. I'm going to start reading off their names. I hope I have all of them. We're going to ask them to stand. Please wait until I'm done with my list. I have it all turned around here. And then we'll clap for them. It's that service and that partnership that we want to thank so much. So let's start with Vancouver City Council. Mayor Pro Tem Ty Stober, Councillor Bart Hansen, Councillor Eric Paulson, Councillor Sarah Fox, Councillor Kim Harless, and Councillor Diana Perez is back in Washington, D.C. supporting us and couldn't be with us this evening. But we have the Mayor of Camas, Steve Hogan, Neil Kimsey, Clark Regional Wastewater District Commissioner. That's a long title, Neil. And then we also have with us Don Orange, Eric LeBrant, and Jack Berkman from the Port of Vancouver, all those commissioners. We also have the outreach representative from Representative Marie Glusenkamp-Perez, Emma Montague, and then, bless their hearts, Ridgefield came down, Rob Akili and Ron Onslow. Are there any others that I've missed? Oh, Glenn Young, thank you so very much, and Sue Marshall, the county. Let's give them a round of applause, please. I'd also like to thank and recognize our city manager, Eric Holmes, for his leadership and his very steady management of the city and its employees. You can imagine what it was like during the pandemic when our entire community switched on us. And those last 2 years seem insurmountable at times, but the resilience and ingenuity of city staff to break through any challenge, it never ceases to impress me a lot. So thank you so much, Eric. And if you're a city staffer, would you wave to us, please? There they are. Look, they're all over the place. We were trying to figure out where to hold this. As you'll remember, 4 years ago, it was over at City Hall. We were all crowded very tightly. But we thought, what a great opportunity. So we asked Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Department to kind of juggle the activities. You probably saw some of those signs out there, no wall climbing here tonight, so that we were able to hold this event here. And this is such a wonderful community space. And CVTV, thank you so very much for coming in. Let's give them a round of applause. So traditionally, the State of the City is probably a more formal event. We gather, the mayor talks a little bit, we have a snack, we chit-chat, and then we all leave. We decided to do something a little bit different, as you can tell. We're going to use most of the time that would have been used for that typical State of the City address tonight. And as Ty pointed out, this will be our first council community forum instead. We have 4 of them planned this year. With City Council, with the City Council, we'll have a conversation to understand your thoughts and ideas around some of those big picture questions that we're working on, because we're going to be transforming our community. In the next 20 years, the population of the city of Vancouver could easily double. Tell the person next to you how much you think the population is right now. If you said 200,000, then you are right. So instead, yes, I heard a couple 50,000. That was back in the 70s, yeah. So instead of that long speech, we've decided that we're going to have a longer conversation with our Vancouver community. And before we talk about the future, we're going to take just a quick look at some of our accomplishments and the work that happened in 2022. It was quite a year. And I know it's impossible to fit everything in, so we'll focus on those transformative accomplishments and projects. Also on your table, you'll notice a little card with a QR code there. You can scan that, and you can get the full city annual report for a more comprehensive look. But let's take a look at a video real quick.
In 2022, the City of Vancouver embraced its growth and transformation, implementing initiatives to improve livability, public safety, community, public spaces, and to change lives for the better.
This fire station is expected to respond to over 1,500 calls annually every year from its first day of service. And one of the best facts that I can share with you is that its second call on the first day in service was a cardiac arrest, and that person was saved by the crew of Engine 11.
Fire Station 11's grand opening last fall celebrated the area's first new additional fire station in 12 years. The new station is an investment in our community's safety infrastructure and is key to effectively serving our increasing population.
And ethics.
Transformation at the Vancouver Police Department included the welcoming of a new leader when Chief Jeff Morey was sworn into office in 2022.
Thank you, everybody.
A former assistant chief with the department, he was chosen following a national search and robust public engagement. The police department also took major strides towards developing its camera program in 2022, leading to the implementation of the program earlier this year.
I think more than anything else, the community expects to see what's going on with their police department, and it'll help us with our transparency as well. More than just accountability, what I've said since I got here was I want all of our officers to be leading with empathy and compassion. It's important because people will never forget how we treated them.
2022 brought continuing significant transformation to Vancouver's landscape. The Columbia Palisades project in East Vancouver will eventually convert just over 84 acres into a 20-minute neighborhood with mixed-use buildings offering commercial, residential, and community space. Demolition of the Tower Mall in central Vancouver was also completed in 2022. It'll be the site of the Heights District development, eventually home to 8 new 20-minute neighborhoods. We also completed extensive community outreach to help shape the plan for the Waterfront Gateway. The 6.4-acre site will be another vibrant mixed-use district connecting historic downtown to the waterfront.
We are so glad to see you here to celebrate the opening of Ida Bell Jones Neighborhood Park.
2022 welcomed the opening of 2 brand new neighborhood parks, Ida Bell Jones Park and Nikkei Park, with names chosen to celebrate Vancouver history.
As a member currently of the Senate Housing and Local Government Committee, I know just how critical this need is.
Officially breaking ground and working in tandem with the Vancouver Housing Authority in 2022, the mixed-use Fourth Plain Commons project will offer transformative features. They include a food business incubator, communal event space, a public plaza, shared office space, and 106 affordable housing units. Right outside of its windows, in-depth planning began for the Fourth Plain Boulevard project, one of multiple locations advanced in 2022 as the city continued implementation of its Complete Streets policy. The policy ensures that the desired right-of-way is designed for all users, creating streets that are safe, comfortable, and convenient for travel via automobile, foot, bicycle, and transit. The city also created an internal diversity, equity, and inclusion baseline to coincide with the city's biennial budget process and inform the creation of DEI department action plans.
We're part of history, culture, music, songs, and we stand here proud to say this is who we are.
Its commitment to community-wide equity and inclusion deepened as well, celebrating its first Pride flag raising in 2022 and recognizing Juneteenth as an official holiday for the first time. Vancouver's Affordable Housing Fund helped people like Sarah get back on their feet in 2022.
The feeling that came from this is undescribable. The stability, the finally feeling that I'm safe.
Brittany and her son also moved into their own affordable home.
It just helps everybody who has been in a position where they can't afford the housing costs these days. It's really a blessing.
2022 was the first full year for the city's Safe Stay Community program that quickly became a model for other cities. It offers compassionate, life-saving, and social services for those working to transition out of homelessness. The secure, managed sites served 130 people, transitioned 45 to permanent housing, and helped 32 find employment.
A lot of people's been given up on, and I feel like out here, it's just great. That's all I got to say about this whole program, all this, it saved my life. And I hope this is a wave of the future.
Learn more about the city's work and accomplishments in 2022 at vancouverannualreport.org.
Good. Last year, when I said that the state of the city was strong, I meant it. I do want to say, though, that being strong doesn't mean we didn't have our share of challenges. In fact, we do and continue. But we face them with determination, resilience, and creativity. And that creativity is getting us noticed. And so it's our resolve to positively shape our future. It's been said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what we're doing here in Vancouver. Vancouver is being held up as an example for how we've come together as a community to address homelessness and the affordable housing crisis. And over this last year's, actually 2 years, we've had cities and counties and even the governor come down and visit to learn from us. And of course, one of the most important ways we're able to do this is with your support. I'm sure you all know that last month voters approved our affordable housing levy, which will raise $10 million annually for the next 10 years. This will allow us to assist some of the most vulnerable in our community by helping 2,500 households with rent assistance and housing services, helping 150 households with home ownership and preservation, or constructing 2,400 affordable units and supporting 550 shelter beds over the life of that levy. With extensive community input, the Vancouver City Council passed the Climate Action Framework last December, and that framework outlines a path for the city to achieve carbon neutrality by 2040. It's one of the most aggressive targets in the region, and the country. And we're already making bold steps forward by starting work that will move us toward 100% renewable energy usage at our own City Hall. To meet the needs of our rapidly diversifying community, you saw up on the video, diversity, equity, and inclusion is at the forefront of our work. And we're leading the way in integrating principles of equity into city-driven redevelopment projects. You also saw that in that whole area behind City Hall. That is what we call the Waterfront Gateway Project, but we're also working on the Main Street Promise Project, supporting small businesses working to recover from the pandemic, investing in placemaking and safety improvements on key connectors, and again, adding affordable housing. We're investing our ARPA dollars in improvements on our Main Street and along the Fourth Plain Corridor. We're investing in Central Vancouver through the Heights District redevelopment. Again, you saw that in the video. In 2022, the Council approved the Master Plan and Development Agreement for the Vancouver Innovation Center, VIC. That's East Vancouver. The VIC will reimagine nearly 180 acres, old quarry land, of a former industrial property into 20-minute neighborhoods with dense housing, a forested city park, high-tech employers, a middle school, restaurant services, and multimodal trails throughout. That's that old HP site way out there off of 192nd. It could be a model for how a wide variety of uses can work together on the same site. The city is focused on building a safer, more resilient, and climate-smart transportation system. No, I'm not going to talk about the I-5 bridge. Well, I could, but we're building that. But we are also retrofitting our roads to make them safe for everyone, regardless of age, ability, and how they choose to travel. We just flipped the calendar on 2023, and we continue to create the future. Our reforms in the business license surcharge fee will go into effect in April, in adding to reducing the fee burden on the smallest businesses in Vancouver, and it will fund investment in increased police services, new roads, economic development, and job creations, but it will also allow us to invest in parks. This spring, we're starting work on our playground replacement program. Through increased funding in the recent biennial budget, Van Fleet and Columbia Lancaster Neighborhood Parks will receive new playground equipment this year, and planning will begin for 2 new playgrounds, the Homestead Neighborhood Park and Marine Community Park in 2024, replacing all of those old pieces. Those are 4 of the playground replacements marked of the beginning of a significant long-term strategy that seeks to replace more than 20 aging playgrounds over the next decade. And again, that's through the license surcharge. Our chief of police is here. Jeff, wave at us. Our body-worn camera program launched last month with equipment being issued to all sworn personnel, including the chief. The transparency and accountability this program will bring is invaluable to our community. However, there's something new that you may not know about. In April, our partners from Clark County District Court, Clark County Volunteer Lawyers Program, Council for the Homeless, Columbia River Mental Health, CMAR, Ideal Options, Washington School of Social and Health Services, Clark County Veterans Assistance Center, and Recovery Cafe is helping us launch our community court. That will tackle 10 offenses that will help address quality of life concerns raised in Vancouver. And the court will actually be held at Recovery Cafe. The community court will hold participants accountable while helping them overcome their challenges that contribute to continued involvement in the Juvenile and Criminal Justice Center. That is very new for us. We just keep moving forward with determination and big aspirations to leave this community better from our service. When the council makes decisions, we're not making it for next year or for the next 5 years. We're making it for the next generation because we truly are in the forever business. And we're not just getting noticed by other communities like Ridgefield or Camas that want to learn. Vancouver is getting noticed by opinion makers also. Vancouver has made the top 10 list for best small and mid-sized cities to live in. We were also ranked 12th on a list of best cities for outdoor activities on our waterfront, ranked among the top 15 river walks in the country. But how do we want our future to look? How do we want to be viewed? We are starting a 20-year plan, and that will determine how we're viewed not only by those who make those best lists, but more importantly, the people who are current and future residents of Vancouver. That comprehensive plan, called Our Vancouver, will reflect our shared direction for the future of Vancouver. When completed, Our Vancouver will provide us a long-term vision for managing growth and development. But more importantly, Our Vancouver will determine how the community will look and feel and function, from land use to development and infrastructure and housing, equity and opportunity, and all of that climate and the environment. It will be ours. And as we start work, we need to consider what got us to this point. And what did get us here will not necessarily address the change and challenges facing us in our community. It doesn't mean that the state of our city isn't strong or what we have done in the past was ineffective. On the contrary, it's what made us the vibrant city that we are today, but we must also continue to evolve to successfully meet the amount of challenge and change that we are facing. You saw those tall buildings. It is hard for people to see those tall buildings. We have new challenges. There are no small issues. So as I said at the start, those are the big picture questions that we need to answer to strengthen Vancouver for the future, and that's why you're here, and that's why we need your help. Together we make the state of our city strong, not just for us, but as I said, for the next generation. So thank you for joining us this evening as we reflect on a few of our accomplishments moving forward. But look around your table. That is our next stage of tonight's work. We're going to transition. At each table, there's a facilitated discussion that will help us determine the community's vision through the lens of those big questions, those big picture questions that the comprehensive plan will cover. We're going to take a little bit of a break. They've been setting out some great food for us. We'll grab some food and drink and come back to your tables. Please don't leave. We need you tremendously for this next piece. So once your table is filled, the conversation will start. And it'll be about 15 minutes before we get started. We're doing quite well on our time. So please help each other. Go get some food, come back. And again, thank you so very much for joining us.